Hi, I'm Pat McGrew, the production mail evangelist for HPS, and I'm back with part 3 of the Aurasma story, and this time we're going to talk about success stories. So the first thing I should do is show you what Aurasma actually looks like when it's on an iPad, and in this case it's on my iPad. It's a little bit hard to see because of my background, but I have two applications here, one called Aurasma Lite and one called TG Mag Extras, and these are both Aurasma enabled, and this A is the symbol that you'll see that really exemplifies an Aurasma aura. Most organizations that are using Aurasma Lite will put that A on there so their clients or customers know that that's the thing that will trigger an image. Now, when you fire up Aurasma, it's actually, you just tap on it, and on your phone or on your iPad or your Android tablet, any number of images might be Aurasma enabled. You might remember our Drupal brochure where we created a book full of images that are Aurasma enabled. So I want you to look really carefully at this image right here because the image is of a wedding invitation, and I see these two blank spots right here. If I take my Aurasma enabled pad, it'll take a look at this and notice how the RSVP and the Macy's, you can kind of see it come up. And what's happening here is that that image has triggered a program which then causes the image of the RSVP and the shopping opportunity to come up. And so think of this wedding invitation. Not only can you RSVP to a cloud-based server, but you could also get directly to a shopping cart where you could then turn around and go shopping for the happy couple. That's one kind of success story. There are many others, and one that we find particularly fun is this one. This image is Paul McCartney, and actually if you flash on this one, it will take you to a video setup where Sir Paul talks about his relationship with HP and how we helped him organize his video and music library. So it can have educational content as well. But there's a lot more to it because there are actually a number of live advertisements that are talked about in here, one from Top Gear and one from the folks at Smart Car. This was actually an advertisement set up for a smart car that ran in Paris. Now, in addition to things like wedding invitations, we believe that there's a lot of opportunity. You could perhaps use Aurasma images, Aurasma triggers in any kind of direct mail marketing to take a customer somewhere. In fact, what we did with this one, this is one out of our Maximos set, and if you look at this, you'll see that I actually come up talking to you if you flash Aurasma on the Maximos logo. So you'll notice that as I'm pulling it away, the Aurasma images are disappearing, and that's because I'm not double tapping on them. When you actually bring up an image and it's loaded, if you double tap on it, you can then walk away and it becomes a very portable image. I showed you that I started up Aurasma Lite, and now let me show you this TG Mag Extra application. So if you're a fan of Top Gear magazine, which is this magazine, if you're not a car person, you may not be familiar with it. It's linked to a TV show that's also shown on BBC America. And many car aficionados from around the world are familiar with it. So Top Gear magazine back in 2011 launched an arrangement with Aurasma where they began putting the Aurasma icon onto the cover of their magazines, and every month the cover would then launch if you use the application and would take you on a test drive of the car or give you some additional video content. So recently the folks at Top Gear took it one step further and have actually created something called TG Mag Extra, which is this new icon, and this is where Aurasma is actually in the kernel of the application, but the folks at Top Gear magazine have now taken it another step further. So not only have they created Aurasma images for the cover itself, but actually quite a few of the articles inside also have Aurasma content. There's one in here for a flying car, and there's several others that you can use. And the way it works is really the same as with Aurasma Lite. I'll set this down, and I'm going to put my iPad over top, and it's going to load it. And I'm going to double tap on it, and that's going to make it portable for me so I can hold it up and show you that now it's going to show this test drive of this Lotus Evora. And it can be content that is as long or as short as you want it to be. It can be pretty much anything you want. The folks at Top Gear, and here I'll stop this so that it doesn't get too loud here, but the folks at Top Gear actually take the stance that they just do pure video. There's no voiceover, there's no real interaction, although at the very end of every one of the videos it does take you to the opportunity to subscribe to the magazine, so there's a landing page there. And that's a really great way to use this kind of content, because what happens is then the customer can then leave their name and address details or contact details. You're capturing customer information onto your server, and you can continue the interaction with them. So there's an awful lot of huge opportunity there. We tried to do the same kind of thing with this piece that we did for Popular Mechanics magazine, and you may be familiar with this magazine from 2011. We did a special version of Popular Mechanics in certain markets where they received an outsert on top, where subscribers, their edition arrived with these outserts, and these outserts actually also had QR codes on them and gave them the opportunity to link into a contest to win one of our great HPNBs. However, what we do know is that there are a lot of other things you could do. And remember what I said is that the trigger image can be done at any time. You don't have to plan ahead. And so what we did is we took these images, which were frankly already printed and available to us, and we decided to go ahead and create an Aurasma image for them. So if you see my special delivery guy here, what I can do is I hold him up, and he loads, and he will actually take you to a video of Jim Chiobon from Sierra, who will talk about how he worked with us. Notice as I pull it away, the image will stop. So from a success story standpoint, what you're going to find is that there are just dozens and dozens of them in the marketplace, sometimes in ways that are very obvious because they actually have the Aurasma aura on them. They have this little A on them, so you know. And at times it's going to be more like the TG Mag application, where they've created their own icon and they're working with it their own way. The trick to making a successful Aurasma implementation is going to be that piece that we talked about in the second video, which is having a strategy. You're going to need to understand what your long-term goal was. What the folks at Top Gear did was very smart. They spent a year simply creating Aurasma images for their covers and linking people into the content just to see how people would react and what they would do with it and how they would be willing to interact. And based on that, they were able to build this new TG Mag Extra application that actually has a different kind of story wrapped around it and allows you to see certain other kinds of video content in addition to what comes off the cover or off the inside of the magazine. So that's our story of success stories. If you don't have this particular piece, this is something that you do want to get from your regional folks, because it's not just a great piece because it shows so many variations, but also talks through what the value proposition would be for consumer and small business, for packaging, for direct mail. This piece up here was a live piece that John Lewis department store in the UK did. This is Harley Davidson, the Lucasade bottle. Every one of these is a very compelling story. Notice that there's also a book page in here showing it being used for education content, which is an area that the Aurasma team is very interested in promoting, and then, of course, Sir Paul on the back. All of these are worth knowing more about. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to ask. I'm McGrew@HP.com, Pat McGrew for IHPS, and good luck with your Aurasma implementations.